have to go live, and I will start go live, and I will press the live button. Okay.
Okay. Good. So we are live, right?
Give me.
Maybe.
Yeah, we are live right now. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Today we are going to have our guest speaker, Cyril, to present to us, and I will pass the baton to Cyril. Yeah.
Yes. Nice, very nice I'm very happy that you invite me to speak here. And my background is film, and I'm from Germany, and I just arrived in LA. So this date, Saturday, will be packed because after the talk, I will go to a Apple Vision Pro hackathon at the 2-Bit Circus. And then at 4:30 I will pick up the Vision Pro. So all in one day. It's a fun day, and I hope people will ask questions, and I would love to open a discussion if that's possible with via LinkedIn as well. Otherwise, it would be great if you just post questions and I will answer afterwards. Maybe I can share Do you see the screen now?
Yeah, we see a picture of someone with some sort of machine next to them.
All right. Then I will do a little presentation now. So my background is film, like I said, and I will go do a little intro right now. But I want to talk about AI-infused spatial design, how it is enabling the real holodeck, and I will build a little story to this, to the potential that we all can do what in the cinema or in the TV 40 years ago people thought a holodeck is. But I want to talk about myself first a bit. Berlin-based, born in Frankfurt, 25 years of film production. I did write films, music videos, advertisement, you name it, documentaries, everything. And since 9 years, it's in 2015, I fell in love with VR. And the most known film I did before was a documentary about the Russian billionaire Khodorkovsky. Did two documentaries, and before that I did fiction films and Kafka adaptations. And with that film, or two films about Khodorkovsky, I met very many wealthy people. And I wanted to then make a film about life extension gone wrong, because all those people who have more than 200 million wanted to live longer. And I started a film and a series about life extension gone wrong. And one part of the film was playing in Hong Kong. And when I was in Hong Kong 3 months, I fell in love with location-based VR. And that's how I came to VR, because I love the potential that you can have a social experience and a haptic experience at the same time. That was much more than what I experienced in my film career. And like a little child, I could relive this first sensation of something truly new. And that's why I changed almost my profession. I do still work in film, but I try to build bridges between linear filmed entertainment and interactive entertainment. So like I said, holodeck, it's a big, almost as used word, or as metaverse. Nobody really remembers the first series when it was a topic. But the idea is that you can go into a room, be it on a spaceship or in your living room, and say something. Yeah, today you would say it's a prompt. Turn this into that, or I want to be on the mountain, or turn the sofa into a bush, and then it happens. And this is really where I believe we reached the stage where this is possible at the moment. And yeah, many people thought about the idea, and we are barely scratching the surface. And of course, it's always good to have high aims, and then we see it takes longer. So a couple of my friends of mine, exactly 3 from Germany, built companies also like myself. One in Munich called Holodeck VR, It's location-based VR. Another friend, Live, built Hologate, also location-based entertainment. And another friend, a couple of friends, built HoloRide, also from Munich. They're all in Munich, crazy. In-car VR entertainment, which is also a great topic, but also very tough. And even though they have money, it's their struggle because they thought that self-driving cars will be something of today, not of in 10 days. Because their bet was if you don't drive and you have time, you can play or educate yourself in the car. So also I want to talk about what brought me to where I'm right now. Let me put this someplace else. And that was definitely what inspired me for what I did, what was the runner-up for what I'm doing now, and what is the whole dream is this to synchronize the real world with the virtual. And the first ones, I bet everyone knows them, is the Void, like 8-9 years ago. I want to show you just a small clip. So that was the Void. They were really, really good, very big impression. They got cash from Spielberg and from Disney. Disney gave them the IP, Star Wars, but they, sadly enough, they failed with the biggest IP was Star Wars, because me as a user was in London in LBE. It was not clear who is the, even though it's clear, Darth Vader, it wasn't, but it was not clear what is the mission, who is the enemy, what is to do. So they kind of like destroyed the IP with this new medium instead of the opposite, which was sad. And they went bankrupt, and now they're revived, but it was also too expensive, $40 for 20 minutes. The same is in LA, great company, DreamScape, where the CTO is from Switzerland, where the company called Atanim did this little experience, also 8 years ago.
Behind the energy tanks, you will find a drone. This is a teleportation machine that you will use to travel through time and space. To activate the machine, each of you has to find a crystal located in the room.
So, do you see everything, everybody? Okay, just feedback. So you don't.
It's great. Yeah.
All right. So they built the CTOs from Switzerland, went to America, got big cash, good investment. They improved something what the Void did not do. For example, the Void just went into shopping malls in Las Vegas, and every place I checked it out, it's shopping malls. It's quite okay, but DreamScape improved also something that the foyer, before you put on the goggles, is already storyfied, is already an adventure. So there was a blend between the moment when you come into the room until you put on the goggles. And also what is interesting to check out all the experiences, their most impressive experiences are not the IP experiences, but their own genuine self-designed experiences for some reason. I guess the big Hollywood studios put so much pressure on them that they had to rush, and then it was not as good. Or the same with Star Wars. If you know something and you like the IP, it's easy, or there's a risk of that you're disappointed. And maybe that is also the case. So they are not bankrupt, but they are doing, like right now, a collaboration with Arizona State University for out-of-home entertainment. The third big inspiration for what I'm doing now since 9 years is Google Project Tango, where Johnny Lee, the lead of Google Tango, said the following.
And where we are and where what is around us
8 years ago
has a pretty fundamental impact over how we live our daily lives. We roughly understand how big this room is and our own physical relationship with each other. And if these devices understood how to do that, you could then make apps that could do things like could measure the size of your couch and measure the size of your room. You could play games that actually use the shape of your house as part of the game level. I've just put that box in front of us, and it's using the depth sensor to actually capture the shape of the box.
Right.
And I can just tap the screen to throw balls and try to play basketball. As I just move the tablet around, it starts to build a 3D mesh of the whole room, and we can actually, well, it falls off of his head. One of the interesting things about this is that you start thinking about games that you design procedurally, because you don't know actually the user's living room size. Yeah. So you have to figure out a game mechanic that actually can dynamically adjust to any room size or furniture shape. We started stacking pillows and like draping up blankets, because you can actually start to build forts that actually work in the game world.
Oh,
Right?
so, okay, yeah.
So it's sort of this belief that, just like GPS, everyone was fine before GPS came out, but nowadays you wouldn't consider buying a phone without GPS. And we hope to see Tango kind of reach the same level of adoption.
But he was wrong. He was sadly enough wrong, because the hardware was so expensive for Project Tango, and they had it just in a bunch of phones. And then ARKit came out, AR Core. I mean, Apple killed them, because Apple solved the whole thing, the scanning of the room with software, and that killed Tango. And well, but it was a big inspiration, especially when he spoke about procedural game design, which I come to a bit later.
And
Okay, that was after all of this, we founded our Vonderland, which is something like the Void or DreamScape. We did a prototype, then we toured Europe and China, only to find out it was also too expensive to scale because of all the hardware. And the hardware was like, we built a set with vibration in the floor, with wind, with heat, with where magic portal, where you don't teleport yourself, but where you have one portal and a railing, which is substituted by game level content. And so you can go from room to room without teleporting, and can like an elevator, or stack new rooms on top of it, or like a gallery or content or game level. And we even developed a little SDK for students to put to create new rooms where you can go from one room to the other. And it was with wind, with heat, a scent generator, and tracked rings even. 6 years ago. And Wonderland, I mean, you saw the bunny was the kind of like the avatar. We toured through China, and there was we had a woman first as an avatar, and then a man put on the goggles, and he was a bit irritated to be in a woman body. So we, in order to not have all this gender, whatever, where are you from, irritation and hassle, we took the bunny. And to be more playful and flexible. It was a great research success, but we were not able to scale it. We toured through China, went to a lot of competitions, but even there was the investment climate was quite good. Then it was everybody and ourselves understood it is too expensive to scale, because the hardware was so expensive. It was so much to all the trackers, the people who had to take care of it. The stuff gets old fast, and like the fate of the Void, we understood it's very hard to scale with this hardware. But we found out the social aspect and the haptic aspect was beautiful, and that's why we thought, how can we have a similar social and haptic experience for more people without all the hardware hassle? And the idea of SyncReality was born. And SyncReality is last year we released the alpha version of a Unity plugin to enable every developer that the content adapts to the space of the user without us or the creator not knowing the space of the user. It's like responsive design for spatial computing. And of course, safety. There are so many YouTube videos where people run against TV sets and walls. We thought, how can we make it more safe? And also what we saw, the big difference between location-based VR, multiplayer, and home is, at home you have a pre-trust to your living room, so you know how many meters from the sofa to the bathroom is, and so you trust your surroundings, and when this combined with a known IP is psychologically very strong. So it's until very recently, no haptic, no free movement, and yeah, no, it was not possible at home to have, for example, a multiplayer adventure escape game. And all the solutions, I bet you read about the Disney multi-directional, multi-person treadmill. It's an engineering marvel, and I love the engineer team there, but it still is a treadmill, and you feel like walking on eggs, and you will feel motion sick. So all these things, camera tracking, haptic gloves, outside in, is in that sense not a no-go for us, because the batteries are draining. You have to take care of this. It is really like a big hassle. And our aim was to develop something which is hardware platform and platform agnostic, and one credo, as much technology away from the body as possible, because we overdid it with all the backpack computing, sweaty trackers, craziness, which was good for some time, but it's really nuts. So what we want to enable is boundless personalized XR, where you can walk around, and it doesn't matter if it's AR, VR, it doesn't matter if it's 2 people with an iPad and 2 people with the Vision Pro or Quest 3, it shall not matter. And it only matters if the device is location aware. And that is, of course, it was until now the biggest hurdle also to get over this, to have a digital double for content creation. I show you our launch video. And you can have education like here, biology course at home, even though without Corona, or gaming, of course, adventure, escape games. And the great thing is, once you do the content, it will adapt to any space. And of course, spatial computing is spatial computing, meaning it doesn't matter if it's AR, VR, MR, whatever. Like I said, as long as the device knows where it is in space, you can combine VR or Apple. Apple is, of course, propagating it with the wheel, with the reality wheel. And the smart placement in AR is as important as a substitute of assets in VR. So we released this last January. We went to GDC, made dozens of game jams, and sadly enough, I have to say it up front, we kind of like underestimated the market and or of course the game industry. Our team is mostly from game design. Almost no game designer is up for paying a SaaS fee. I know how angry they were when Unity wanted to have $50 for Unity Mars, which is close to our tool, but only reduced on placing virtual objects on planes like AR. And we enable also substitution of volumes. But we kind of underestimated that this might not be a classical developer tool. Other bigger companies, they don't care. They pay $500 for SaaS, but it was a bit a product market fit problem we encountered. I want to go before I go to the topic. I want to go. If anyone has a question, please could you pass it on? I will ask, if there's already a question, I would answer it, because we have good time. Is there a question in the until here? Maybe.
Jim? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I was wondering, do you have an outdoors mode as well? Or do you have to worry about things like people running into the street and things like that?
Yeah.
And also, do you have any of this on the market, and what are you charging developers?
It's free now because it's better. And outdoor, no, because we know that Niantic and Google and others are claiming that space outdoor. And it's, of course, we knew, or we know how powerful is your private rooms and it's safer, of course, outdoor. And the biggest power is in VR and outdoor VR. I mean, I saw already some pictures of people wearing the Vision Pro outside, but this is, of course, a bit goofy. Still, no, it's planned for inside, and because of also the devices which we worked with, first HTC and then the last 2 years only, or 3 years, Meta and Apple. I mean, first was an iPad. We sent the live scan of the iPad to the headset. So at the beginning, you needed 2 devices. Then we rewrote everything, and we patented also a manual room mapper, because neither Apple iPad LiDAR nor the Quest scanning was precise enough for our means. The answer is no. No outside at the moment, but the others, there's some big companies who claim outside.
Do you think that, I'm sorry, do you think that the LiDAR is a big advantage?
It is, I mean, but of course you saw that with software you can solve a lot. Apple killed Google Project Tango just with a software solution. Yeah, but of course the more the merrier, and the best at the moment until now. But they spent like, I mean, 50 billion or something. HoloLens has the best. Maybe Apple will topple them, but until now HoloLens was the most precise in spatial anchoring, because they used sensor fusion. They used 3 different ways of making sure that the virtual asset object will stay where you put it.
Is HoloLens dead, or is that coming back, or what?
Oh, I mean, they make deals with the military, and then Microsoft is not small. They will not. No, they're not dead, but yeah.
We don't know. We're not really sure, but it sounds like it might come back.
Yeah. So, but at the moment, of course, we focus on Quest 3 and Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Because the biggest hurdle for us, the whole year 22, 21, people thought, are you a scanner company? Because we had to do such a big hassle to show the quality or the functionality of SyncReality, because we had to make such a big fuss about making a digital double. And since neither Meta nor someone else offered automatic room scan, we had to build our own room mapper with the hand tracking, where you touch, you will see it in a sec, where you touch the corners of furniture and walls, and then you save it, which is more precise than the automatic mapping. And now we even combined our manual mapping with the automatic Meta Quest presence platform, which is much better than last year. So you see automatically game level was adapted or mapped over like a second skin over reality. And that's what we patented, because it was necessary. Of course, our dream will be that this step will not be necessary, that in the background, when you put on the goggle, it will be mapped automatically, and that you can save it and recall scans.
So with the manual mapping, do you automatically save that for each room, so that when you come back into that room later, it's already there?
Yes. I mean, it's like what Meta is executing quite well, and also Apple. Yeah, exactly. And the dream is, of course, that you have this, and that it's still not, because people ask, so what is if you move a chair, or if your grandma comes in, or a dog? Of course, that's not possible yet, but that's not our issue, but it's just the issue of the hardware and software, cloud, or like creator of what we are setting up our software. So at the moment, I think it's with a 3-second delay, if you move a chair, the digital double moves 3 seconds after. So it's nothing for a fast-paced move the chair game, but it's still very strong and beautiful. And the other thing which is important to enable responsive design and auto-adaptive spatial content, which only you have to do once and then it unfolds in every space differently, which is also great for social media, because people will say, hey, look at my avatar game in my 5-room flat. And then the other person says, no, it's much more beautiful if it's in a 2-room mansion or something like that. So the personal unfolding has a value, even though the IP is known. And in order to enable this, we come there, of course, with the topic of today and AI-infused 3D assets. But one thing is also super important is parametric assets, which you don't need all the time, but for tables and walls, you need parametric, like elastic assets, because you don't know how large a table is. Yeah, it can be 1 meter by 1 or 7 meter by 2. And it shall not look as ugly as Lara Croft in 1998 or something. It should still look beautiful. And for this, you need elastic assets, which you have to create before export. So that's what we're working on as well. And so you can import normal assets, but also mix with and change parametric assets. That's a very simple example that you can say as a creator, keep my logo always conservative, or keep the corners conservative. And this is everything for the designer open. Or for furniture, of course, it should make sense and it should be fast. The core of SyncReality is the asset and UI placement tool, which is what our software will do with which asset in which relationship to which furniture or space. So you can say in the tool, put all the control boards, sci-fi control boards on the biggest table in the room, put little boxes with ammunition, on the small tables, and put a little sarcophag next to on the table which is closest to the door. So there is a relationship formulation which you can make that it makes sense. Or if you have 2 tables next to each other and the distance between 2 tables is less than 10 centimeters, turn both tables into one asset. Something like this. And that is really the important thing, where we put the most time and work in, that makes sense. We want it to make sense. And the same is with user interface design, that every surface, we use every surface of every wall and table turns into a huge iPad. Of course, we were kind of shocked in June when Apple presented their first videos, and that it was only virtual 2D screens hovering in midair, and that they did not really play with substituting volumes with other volumes, like furniture with volumes, nor did they place user interface design on surfaces. But I bet this will come if enough people will push developer relations of Apple. I think they let us do the work. That's my assumption.
I was wondering about walls. It seems like in your videos, you have sort of a wide open vista, like you're seeing through the walls. And I was wondering what happens as you approach a wall. Obviously, you need to stop somehow.
Yeah. That was just a vision film. I show you an in-app film, but the same thing we develop. Of course, usually walls we exchange with windows or with borders where it's clear that this is a wall is substituted by an asset by which you should not run into. But of course, you can, like with Meta, yourself turn off or reduce the warning signals that there is a real object there. And of course, you have to educate people that what is what. You cannot mix a virtual TV set on top of a TV set and then have just a virtual TV set in mid-air, because then you will not trust the TV set to lean your arm on. So this is also a bit of an educational process. But to your answer, we automatic, that was just a vision film I show you in a video, that automatic, the wall will be, of course, substituted by something which resembles something unobtrusive, or where you can kind of walk through, but you open up vistas by opening up a window. Yeah, let's say you have a very small 2-room flat in Beijing, which I have been in many, or Hong Kong, and still every wall can be a window to New York or onto the lake. But you have to make clear that the window sim or the window rim is there somewhere, that you don't walk into the wall. That's the.
I think Holman has questions in the past.
Please.
Yeah, Holman.
Yeah, my question was, I only have the Quest 1, and in the Quest 1, the first thing you do is set up a Guardian,
Yes.
and that one only has, it seems like you can't set up a Guardian that's multiple rooms. So I don't know what they do on the Quest 3, but how, I guess I'm still conceptually confused about what is available for an application developer inside their game, because it seems like some of it is pre-mapped and should come from, like, what's coming from the operating system versus what's coming from your software.
Sure, it is complex. And of course, we don't want to get married to any hardware or software producer. It's as agnostic as possible, but still, we are, of course, we rely on information from Apple and Meta and the others. You can turn off the Guardian, and you can go beyond. You can do a whole house. It's possible, definitely. And what they are giving now, this is quite recent, this is since October, Meta, is that they have better spatial anchors. That means if you put something virtual on a table, it will stay there even though when you turn it off and you go for lunch. And they have a half automatic room scan meanwhile, yeah, after 2 years. But they don't, for example, let you access those meshes precisely. And they only have one wall, and with us you can pick single chairs. You can the north wall and the south wall, etc. It's much more granular, but it will come, and we're happy. And this is not the USP is not the scanning and the digital double, but the placement is where we put the most energy and.
So for the consumer.
Yeah.
When they open up their new headset, they're doing their Guardian stuff. In order to use your software, would they need to turn off their Guardian to enable like multi-room, and then use your software within the headset to fully scan their house in order to create a digital double? And then how does that get into the game?
Well, our tool, and we will change it in the future, but at the moment it's the tool only for game designers, not for end users. The end user will get a game and it will just work out of the box. The exception may be, but even that Meta will change, and hopefully Apple with asking you please turn off the Guardian, yeah, for example. But it is a tool for developers, and it's a Unity plugin, meaning you create a game as you do it usually, and only the outcome is that the game assets and the game levels will adapt to the flat of the end of the customer, of the user. So you don't have to visit every user and change the assets, but it will change automatically. That's also very important for retail and for out-of-home location-based VR.
But the mapping that you were showing with touching the corners of the table, that's something that the consumer does, or is that something that the developer does?
That's something the consumer has to do at the moment. But that's like I said, the biggest hurdle is getting the digital double in. But I'm 100% sure that this will be something of the past very soon, and we don't waste so much time on that, because this is the biggest hurdle for the end consumer. Yeah, this shouldn't be done by the consumer. Yeah.
I guess
go ahead.
I guess the thing that I was confused about is you're saying that it's a tool for developers, but there's
whole
still a
tool.
UI. There's still an interface for the customer to do something.
Sure.
So how is that packaged for the customer? So you have a developer
in Unity.
Okay.
So the game opens, and then either and that's what Meta is also doing. When you turn on the Quest 3, you can either choose to map the room yourself or to let Meta do it in the background. So you can already in Meta is you can or you have to choose if you do it half automatic or manual.
And that's where your software comes in. So you put on the headset. So even before you get into the game, you can use your software to map the room, and that's available to the game, or is it in the game?
We blend it. We don't want to fight against Meta or Apple. We want to help the end customer that he or she doesn't have to do anything. But this is illusionary. So we help that to lower the entry hurdle. But it's four. I tell you, it's 4 elements of the tool. We have 4 elements. It's the mapper, the room mapper, the asset generator with a parametric asset, and the placement tool, and the third, which is this here, where you can automatically place user interface, which usually you have crammed in your phone. It will then automatically mapped onto the room itself. And the last one is the simulator, which I'm coming in the second. We did this little experiment before the June announcement last year of Apple, and to just show that it doesn't matter to use SyncReality if it's AR or VR. So it's the whole software package. SyncReality is the room mapper because nobody else did it until then, not Meta, not Apple. The asset tool, the asset placement, and the simulator, which I'll show you in a sec. But the main thing we're working on is, and what the value is, because neither Meta nor Apple offer this, is the smart placement of UI and assets. I'm going one further. So I spoke to the main producer of the Escape games of Ubisoft in Germany, who is now in Canada. His name is also Cyril, and he said, "Oh, but our designers for the games, Escape games, they have Assassin's Creed-based multiplayer, location-based VR games, and they said they have a distinct artistic vision, and with your tool, then it will be like a random placed game design logic." And he was kind of afraid, but that's interesting that he was afraid as a VR nerd. But it's true. It's not good if the agency of the creator, of the game designer, is in limbo, because it just unfolds randomly. And in order to give more secure feeling of control, artistic control, we developed the simulator, where you can run your game, your educational experience, your whatever meditation experience. You run, you finish it as far as you can go, and then you run it through the diverse set of flats and houses to make a stress test if the game design and user interface design unfolds in a meaningful and correct manner. Because it would be, of course, a sin or terrible if it would just not work. And your main control board on the big table doesn't work because there is no table in the room. So you have to always check if it has to unfold in any case. And that's why we do the 4th element is the simulator. And then you can export it.
Yeah, I just wanna kind of share with you like some because I tried Vision Pro 3 times, and for Vision Pro there's no Guardian, and I asked why, because like I get used to have a Guardian. I use Quest 3, so I asked the Apple kind of people. I can say everything now because I mean Apple Vision Pro already launched. And the lab people told me that, hey, you've already see everything, because if you see Quest 3, they start with Pomology's VR headset. So if it is in virtual world, and that virtual world is not exactly mapping, which I think a scenic reality is pretty much solve the problem that the virtual world does not sync with the reality in the past. So it needs a Guardian. But in Vision Pro, when you wear it, it's automatically scan all your room with like a super small, like a triangle things. So it already knows the collider. So I think for the procedural kind of mapping, it's pretty much understanding the room understanding. And then on top of it, it kind of regenerates some game-related object on top of that mesh or collider.
I would hope you're right. At the moment, it's not the case. At the moment, once you go in full VR and you go closer to the wall, rest reality will bleed in, meaning they don't offer us or you or anyone at the moment, at least, that you build virtual assets which will be substituted with a table or the wall. They don't allow that, or at least what they do, they force the user into pass-through mode when you go too close to a table or a wall. And that would be so cool. I will bug any Apple developer relations person.
Oh, yeah. The full emotion using the cloud, right? That thing.
That's great. I love that. I love this because this opens up for normal people that you can blend between AR to VR in a seamless manner, which is beautiful. I mean, UI-wise, Apple is ingenious, but I think they don't trust their tech or the developers or the users enough. They want to, and maybe it's an insurance question, but if you go in full VR and go close to the wall, it automatically goes into pass-through. And that's not good for us at the moment. But I hope, and I know it will change, but it would be sad if we would have to wait 18 months for Apple Vision Pro 2.
Well,
I think there's like a digital crowd. You can adjust the immersion thing. And in development mode, there's like a full body mode immersion. And also you can use a plugin called Metal, MATEL. That kind of things is synced with ARKit. You can create full body mode immersion. So your game can definitely play in Vision Pro. It's not 100%. It's mixed reality. I mean, Vision Pro is kind of trying to separate from Quest 3's XR, AR, VR, MR. The reason why was because when people think of VR, AR early stage, they try it, it failed, and they feel miserable. So AR, VR, MR is kind of like the term tied to the bad experience. So
I know, but I think it's rather a marketing and psychological thing. I hope they will do. We both will buy everybody both buys yesterday and today the devices, and it's a very good dynamics. And I hope it will. I will come to this point where I think it is necessary that on top of the real world, like what Jim said, in our vision film, it was an open vista, and I say it. You can do it differently, that you have safe movement in VR and still have an open vista and still are aware where your furniture is, but without turning on pass-through. And I think it's possible. Let me go further. Yeah, go ahead.
I think there may be a big technical issue here, and that is, this is something that I ran into with trying to do some Vision Pro development. And that is a lot of the things that you might want to do involve rendering with metal. But from everything that I saw, you could not use metal in a mixed environment, a mixed reality environment. You could only use it in full immersion. And I asked Apple about that. I said, are we going to be able to run metal in anything but full immersion? And they would not answer my question.
But that's the point. That is so sad, where you can say about Meta what you want, where the Meta people are much more open and fast in reacting positively to developers. That is really the sad thing. You cannot just let developers hang out dry and wait, let them in darkness. So I cross fingers that this will change fast.
It may be due to security reasons. I researched this to find out why they might have that way of doing things. And apparently this is the way they do it on the phones as well.
Yeah.
And it may be a security issue as far as they're concerned. I don't know.
Could be. Let me go further if you don't mind, to come to the topic of AI-infused 3D asset creation. So at the moment, it's a developer tool, and we focus on design, I mean, architecture, furniture placement, and for those bigger companies, it's SaaS model and revenue share. And you can do it either at home, multiplayer, or home 1 with home 2, or in retail stores or location-based entertainment. You can exchange automatically furniture with assets, walls, tables, and here you saw what the rev up of before. And the second phase is B2C, where you can, what we think will be very strong, that normal people can just refurbish their home and pre-live in the new furniture. And when you like it, you buy it later in the same app, so that the return rate will drop, because you had the chance to, in the right lighting, live in your home before, on the new furniture before you buy it. So just even the small rooms can then be, and here you see the vista again, but then with little tricks, you can show the users that you don't go further. And how do we make money with in-app purchases, revenue share? Yeah, I showed you with this before. And service contractors. So you can also sell, a craftsman in your vicinity. Now I come to the topic where we come closer to what is the initial idea of offering AI-infused 3D asset generation with the help of parametric assets and help of SyncReality. If you look at Meta, they had, for a long time, they had these environments. When you turn on your headset, you could pick one to 5 environments, and you could import other environments, and then you can launch your experience. Since Quest 3 and pass-through mixed reality, the usage of those environments went down massively, because why should you be in this not really interactive, kind of sometimes cheesy, sometimes romantic vista? There's no further reason. Of course, Apple offers this on a bit higher quality, but it's still, like what you said, Jim, the vista is endless. There's no real, you can see it here, no real connection to the real room, which reduces my wish to engage, and my agency is reduced. Imagine one of my favorite children's books is Where the Wild Things Are, also a great film by Spike Jonze. That is, through my whole career, 25 years film and VR, what do I really like is dreaming and connecting the dreams with my reality. And that is the key. I don't know if everyone knows the book. Do you know the book, Jim? Or
can you
No,
share
I
the
don't.
name? I can share
it's called Where the Wild Things Are. It's only 8 pages, and the ingenious Spike Jonze made a 2-hour movie out of a 8-page book. And the story is, he was a rascal. His mom sent him up, go to bed without dinner, and then he dreams himself away, goes with a boat to an island where there are monsters. And this idea of having suddenly trees coming, imagining trees, is really very strong. And that's why there we go. That's why I'm doing VR, because of this kind of like worlds. So I say, with help of not only SyncReality, but will definitely help, and with the combination of 3D assets, where you go into your room and say, turn my living room or my working room into a forest, turn my couch into a bush, or into a space control board, or into a dungeon. And then with a little delay, and the delay is only because of how long is it, the 3D asset generation tools of nowadays takes about 1 to 3 minutes. You can go faster, but then you say a prompt, Siri, and then with the prompt, the asset will be generated according to the measures SyncReality sends to the asset generator. And then the 3D asset will be automatically generated in the right size for this specific furniture. And then you have on top of your real world, a safe new skin where you can feel either comfortable, yeah, meditation, or adventure like Raiders of the Lost Ark. And that is so strong. And knowing from Vonderland what we did before, if you have 2 rooms, you have endless rooms for adventures without motion sickness. Yeah, that is really very strong for the future. But there are some hurdles and some chances coming up the alley. So where we go now? Bam. So I want to show you what we did very early on as a test, an avatar world mapped onto your flat. And there you also see, Jim, how we use the walls as borders. Of course, that's a fake scan because scanning was not there at all. And scanning what we did with the iPad in the beginning and send it to the headset. What is very good for people, sofas. You sit on a sofa, you just see the parallax of looking, and there's into the sky. There's a whole round window in the ceiling. The small table is a button where the window blinds open and you look out into an avatar landscape. And look at her hands. She touches the wall and the wall is the window. That's also very psychological, super strong. And a small room like this suddenly is huge because you have a window. And like here, this table, the whole table is an iPad and you can have Star Wars like door openers. But the door has to be open, of course. And then she goes out, and many people had fear of going because it went down like 50 meters into an abyss. So that was super successful psychologically, but it was handmade. That's why we started with SyncReality. But it was handmade partially to keep the precision. And we work hard on automating it, that you do it once and then it unfolds in every space. But the learnings and the insights were, the room can be very small if you open up visual see-throughs in other worlds, even remote multiplayer. Let's say one in Berlin, one in LA, you can pass on virtual objects through the wall to the others. If it's same space, of course, you have to have avatars, and then you see each other, and then you can have an escape game in one room. So the main topic here, prompt-based 3D asset generation, enabling the creation of a holodeck, like either with a text prompt or just voice. So you can enable, and you cannot underestimate it when you look at Roblox, and yeah, I think Lego would be a good partner, but they don't never react. You can have personalized worlds. You can create it as you think, as you feel, or of course, where you can make money, branded worlds where products invite you, or pop stars come and visit you, sit on your sofa, don't walk through your table, but around. Same with film stars, that you continue, an adventure from a film story to an interactive mini adventure to the next film story. And it's of course still the safest VR ever, because every object in your space will be substituted by assets. And of course, you can do stuff at home, which usually you can only do out of home, like 4 people, a fierce escape game or adventure game. The hurdles, yeah, maybe I'm hoping for some feedback from your side. We did a long research for 6 months. It's not there yet. The asset generation, just name a few. It's like Anything World, it's like Sloyd, Scenario, Atom Montage, Hyper 3D, Luma AI, 3D FYI AI. So there is already 24 of companies who say they AI helping to automatically creating assets or turning 2D pictures into 3D, etc. But it's not there yet. But it's the development is really exponential. And of course, great would be that they're from scratch, that they're really also elastic assets, that they really can change. this would be really a great first test if we find a partner somewhere in the world to make a prototype where you come into a room and say, please create a jungle here and turn the rest of the room into something else. And then, which is also beautiful, with this little delay, step by step, the experience will build up. The big thing also where Apple is going into the privacy preserving area, they say we do AI on device. I think cloud is too expensive and also not maybe not safe, but I think edge cloud computing at home, kind of streaming the pixels, this could be a good first test for doing that. Yeah, we would like to do test project. We are already working with Ericsson on a cloud rendering solution, but I think it's too expensive. For example, we spoke also to IKEA and asked, so what do you think of that cloud solution? They say we cannot afford that all our 200 customers will use then cloud computing, because then we have to pay for the cloud computing services, which is millions. So that's why they built very simple, very long-lasting, very lean 3D assets, where we don't need the big compute. This is the team at the moment, the core team in Berlin. We have advisors here also in LA. Caspar von Winterfeld introduced us to Disney and to Cameron short before Corona, because I thought it would be great having an auto-adaptive adventure from Avatar between Avatar 2 and 3, but the customers can, or the fans can continue to live in the Avatar world. They invested a lot of money into a simple, normal game. Misha Sra advises us regarding what's done in the research on the West Coast. Johnny Lee, now in New York, advised us on gaming. Markus Schneider also on gaming, and Paul Reynolds working for Magic Leap, and then now for Roblox advises us on how to not go bankrupt with a startup. The same as Andy Gestoll, who sold his company Wikitoo to Qualcomm. I would like to continue the discussion with you. If there are open questions already, or if it wasn't something that wasn't clear, but the idea is to enable that you go in a room and say something, and then the world appears on top of the real world. That's the idea.
I was wondering, do you remember the movie with Jimmy Stewart called Harvey?
Yeah.
Let's say that as a developer, I wanted to create a situation where there was a large bunny that would talk to me. And let's say that the bunny was based on a large language model that was in some sort of character role-playing mode. If I were to do that, would it involve your system, or would I do that outside of your system?
Well, characters is not our core.
Okay.
We only place, I mean, the main core what not many people are doing is placement of characters also, and of assets in the real world without the designer knowing the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the unknown known, but the whole thing of companion like Tamagotchis of the new time. There, Keiichi Matsuda, for example, he just presented a new app for Vision Pro with a great mascot, and there are many other people who are focusing on this, and this is super complex, which is great. But we place them. Yeah, there we go.
Unity has like a Synthesis AI, and it has non-player kind of AI-driven character.
Yeah. I mean, also there's virtual beings. A friend from Germany, he has the company Virtual Beings. So there's a whole industry already focusing on how to make the NPC more lively, and we don't do that because it would be too much. It's already a lot of thing we put on our shoulders. We just place them or help the other companies to place them in a smart manner into the real world. Because if you look at the intro, for example, the intro experience of Quest 3, the ceiling is breaking up, and then this little UFO is coming down. It will land either on the table or on the floor. That's it, with the interaction of the real world. But many people already like that, but we go further. We would they cannot substitute the table. They just let them land somewhere on a plane. And they kind of copied it from Magic Leap. One of the first Magic Leap one experiences had the similar thing, that a monster came through the wall. So it's all joy and repetition. Yeah. Any more questions from LinkedIn or from your side?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any questions. Feel free to post your questions on the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also will post like a Unity launch something that I see it today. It's called Create Lifelike AI Characters and Dialogues. It's called In World AI. So pretty much very similar to Engage VR, the Athena. You can put AI non-player character inside your game and it will talk to you. I just find out this everything just changes so fast and it's so hard to keep update. And I can tell you this week I'm learning AI, PyTorch. I mean, my background is art and UX UI. So I mean, yeah, I personally think every day we need to keep learning new things because it's just so many cool stuff to learn. Yeah, go ahead.
But can I ask you, because this is what we're focusing on, that the real world, like when you wear a new jacket, that you have a new skin of reality on the real world. Would you, and also Jim and
Yeah, Holman.
who else is there, what do you think you would like to see first when you are at home, and then it's possibility that the whole home, including all furniture, will be substituted by a new world? What would you do first? Which world, or what do you think is a good case? Like,
Well,
Oh, you better have a couch because it seems like the Vision Pro is oriented towards people sitting on couches.
yeah, exactly. That's what we would love to change. I mean, that because we could, and I know people, human beings are lazy, but I think I want to spur the urge to being a child again and crawling around on the floor or just walking freely and safely,
Yeah.
exploring your flat, and not just staying a couch potato with the device on your head.
What about stairs? Can you handle stairs?
You're asking the tough questions. I don't handle. It's just the question of if the sensors are fast enough of the hardware. But yeah, of course. Yeah, why not?
Maybe stairs would be something that, particularly if you had a LiDAR sensor, would be mapped and saved so that later on you could come through
Sure.
that area.
No, the idea is generally that everything like what you do, that the scan refines over time, because the stairs will stay there. Yeah, you don't have to rescan them all the time.
One problem you might have though is that I noticed, like I'm wearing reader glasses right now, and I have stairs in my home here. So if I wear the reader glasses and walk up and down the stairs, it distorts things a little bit and it's a little uncomfortable. So if you had a little air in the stairs, that might be sort of a liability issue.
Of course, you have to. It's your own liability. There's no liability. You have to be careful. And stairs are, even without glasses, a chance to trip. So
I think for Vision Pro you can do subscription, right? You
Yeah.
use like a Z's or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, put subscription. Okay, go ahead, Holman. Yeah.
so in your demo, I think I saw the video, you were using a Quest 1 where you said you pre-scanned the area with an iPad or something. So I did something similar for my backyard because we wanted to pre-visualize what putting a swimming pool would look like. So I took my iPhone and I took scans and I uploaded it to a service that could create a 3D point cloud, but it could only do like a couple seconds. And then I took those point cloud files and then I reassembled them in Blender and then essentially drew like simple polygons to mock out my house and the walls of the property. And then I put it, and then I modeled a swimming pool to sort of, and then I turned the Guardian off and I walked around the house. And then because the Quest 1 doesn't have external sensors, and also you don't want to use it in like big daylight, I had to do it like at at dusk where, you know, the sun's almost going down because I didn't want to hurt the infrared sensors. But it worked okay, except that there's some drift. So if I walked around to the front of the house and walked around the back of the house, there would be it would like kind of have some error accumulate in there. But it worked okay. But so I think there's a use case for that, like pre-visualization. If it's much easier, then it could have saved a lot of time doing that. So I think technology will get better, and especially with the Quest 3 that has sensors. So I think that's a use case.
No, I mean, also the Quest 1 has sensors, they have cameras, and with that you can orient, but the quality gets better. But you're right, this is at the moment because everybody has to live off something, and not only, I mean, in film, I made money with film, and here I'm investing more than making. But now we get proactively contacted by real estate developers and design companies for exactly that case, that when you sell a house, you can sell it with, if it's empty, with already automatically placed furniture, or you sell a raw building, just concrete, and you put virtually new colors on the wall or change windows, and then people walk through this new design and they like it and they say tap, 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 and then it will be executed and you don't have to be there.
Or even existing houses. I could see real estate.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a huge deal. I've been watching some show where they sell multi-million-dollar houses in LA, and they spend $50,000 just to put in furniture in a house to get it ready for sale. So I can imagine where there'd be a huge demand for this.
Exactly. That's why we focus on this, because we got proactively more interest from that side. Yeah.
One thing I wonder about, and you've touched on it briefly, I know that with the Quest headsets, you can run a USB-C cable to a PC and have the PC do rendering for you. Have you seen any glimmer that we will be able to do that with the Vision Pro and like hook it up to a Mac Studio or something?
I don't know why we should, but yes, there is a developer add-on for $300 with a USB-C connector to the headset. I hope not. I mean, this is the big question I heard, for example, the whole question, do you do the rendering for something like a holodeck, auto-adaptive asset creation on the fly? Do you do it on the cloud, on the edge, or on device? I hope on the edge, and Apple is working on device solutions, and they're working on a satellite solutions of mini computers, which are plastered like the Apple TV in your home, so that these mini devices send data to the headset to offload some rendering to those mini devices.
Do you know the name of that project?
No, it's not finished, and Apple is much more secretive than Meta.
Yeah.
But it would make sense. I mean, it would make sense, and that's why our theory to stay at home first for those auto-adaptive unfolding responsive design content is there. It makes sense. Out of home, there's Niantic and Google, and they are the big dogs in the courtyard. Fair enough, yeah. But we think there is a better use for what we did at home.
I think there's something that's going to hit all the developers that use your tools, and I'm curious about it. And that is, you're based on Unity, and number one, what is the situation right now with Unity and the Vision Pro? I know there were a lot of questions about that. And number two, in order to use your tools, will the developer have to spend $2,000 a year?
No. That's why we work hard on just making projects with. Now we do projects to evangelize, but we work also hard that the whole thing, that we get independent from Unity and create a no-code solution, which is Unity and Unreal independent. Because of that, yeah, because it's really, we don't want to have another sling at our neck.
Yeah,
it's really, but we cannot do it alone, and we don't want to do it alone. We are not totally vain or crazy, but it's so many interdependencies. Also, there's dependency now on Apple. Nobody answers. Everybody's so super hyped. It's crazy. It's crazy. But what we see, for example, you have to go with the technology which is now in the world. And of course, I don't like the damn outside battery and the cable and whatever, and the bad weight distribution. I don't like that with Apple, but there will be perfect cases for the Vision Pro for exactly what you just said, luxury real estate, where the customer, where it doesn't matter if you spend five grand for the headset, and you, with the headset, you show the new house. Or with the Quest 3 for rather low-tech retail or not so expensive retail solutions, we will use either the Quest 3 or the Vision Pro, depending on who is the customer. And this is two strong devices at the moment, which is great. And it's good that it's not only one device. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's
that
the
is enough.
Sony coming that's got apparently the same displays, but it's flip up. I don't know how accurately it will be able to work with your eyes.
But Sony is like then best like Vario, and they don't have the same ecosystem like Apple. Apple will kill everyone with their ecosystem in the positive sense. Yeah. And sadly enough, I don't know if you heard this, Dominic, Meta with Tencent had a deal to sell
the headset in China. Yeah.
But now the Chinese government are kind of made pressure on Tencent, and now they're leaving.
Yeah, they don't want young people to play games right now because they think games are like destroy humans' mind. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I do think that Quest 2, I personally think people are over positioned on the Vision Pro on the pedestal because they are so good at marketing. I do think that people are downplay Quest 3 because if you see, I think right now you see iOS and Android. I do think that yeah, wow, I have some interesting blooms. So for Android, for Android, it's not as bad as Android right now. Like Quest 3 is not as bad as we thought. It's the best value of its kind. And if you see the Meta is mimic or copy everything that Vision Pro has. For example, today I just saw that video becomes 3D video.
Sure.
And I thought it was like, I was like, why Meta is featuring Apple's product? But I was clicking in and it's Quest 3. I was like, well, you do everything the same thing as Quest.
It makes perfect sense. It's a 3D headset, so why not play the video?
Yeah, and competition that shows also competition is healthy. Yes. And Meta, for example, I bet you heard about the augments, where some mini apps are attached to the wall or table. Apple is offering that.
Yeah, so they are doing the same thing because in Vision Pro, when I was there in lab, the person told me that pretty much you can anchor all the windows. I don't like Windows, but they say you can anchor unlimited ankles in exactly the same decks, and you can wear it and go to take a bus and go home, and the next day you come here, all the stuff is the same there. Yeah, it's very similar to like a Quest, the future, like the vision, like the future of work. So I think those two are combined. Nobody knows what's the difference between XR and spatial computing, because they all have computer vision. They all have AI. They are the same thing, just marketing. Just marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the situation. That's not only one dog here.
Yeah, right. And I really love that. I think Apple bring up the really good user experience, and also pump up, because I heard that when people join CES, Apple didn't have anything there, but everybody was talking about Vision Pro, which is very interesting. Yeah.
Well, that's the way they operate.
Oh, here. Here's Robin. Somebody's listening. Any questions?
Yeah. Any questions? Yeah,
we are listening
talking
to your stream now. NAB, see what we are building at NAB show. Cool. Virtual events group. Cool.
Yeah.
You know, NAB show. Any other questions regarding? I wanted to say, people in LA. I'm going. There's a Vision Pro hackathon it started like already. It started. It will start in 15 minutes.
Oh, wow, wow.
It is
You a
in,
judge or a participant or what?
no, I will just, because since I'm not so often in LA, I will just say hi and take a look what they are building. It is in the 2-Bit Circus Creator Campus, Apple Vision Pro Hackathon in LA.
Wow, that is cool. That is cool. Yeah. So, I mean, anybody has any questions, or you need to drop and go to the hackathon?
No, I would love to. I mean, why? The point is, what is also a bit tough for us. Most people, even from the industry, don't understand until now, didn't understand what we're building, that it is necessary if you have spatial computing, that you have content creation where the content is elastic and adapts to the space. Because otherwise, best example is like the void in DreamScape. If you, or other location-based experiences, if you build it once and you have 100 other locations, you have to send a designer and a coder to the new location and change it. Go back to the lab, change it, test it, do it back and forth. You spend 15,000 euros while doing per location for adaptation. And that's why I see such a big, potential in saving time and money. But it's also, like I said, with the guy from Ubisoft, the game producer, he was threatened by the elasticity. He thought, oh, our creators, they know exactly how the game level should look. And if you come here and it just unfolds as you wish, we lose control. So it's also threatening for some artists.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
one of the things that I wonder is, I have been waiting for the Vision Pro to come out so that I can get my hands on it, and all these people that were under NDAs now are now released from their NDAs. So now all this information is going to come out, and it's going to be so much easier to develop for it. So I think a lot of developers have been waiting for this moment before they really jump onto this.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, where are you in that? Have you had one of the beta headsets? When do you think your stuff will be ready for Vision Pro?
Since we do, I mean, our background is also game design and content, but we are an enabling software for creators. We tested with all the Apple software we can simulate for the Vision Pro already. Of course, we know how the logic is, but what we saw, we didn't like that much at the beginning because it was rather, but I know why, it was rather virtual screens placed in the middle of the room.
Right.
It's not very spatial, to be honest. It's not really spatial. Yeah, it's just a bunch of monitors with a bit frosty glass design, which is cool. So we were not happy to be left in the dark about how can we access the room scan, even though it's very precise. How can we access the categories of this is a table, scan table, this is a scanned wall.
Right.
That access for us and for the coders, for the developers. Otherwise, our tool is worthless.
You need to get user permission. There's a dialogue that you can.
There's like the pop-up.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm totally pro end user privacy safety, which is really super important. Without that, this whole thing will blow. If you don't, if suddenly, because the scanner sees you have a 10-year-old refrigerator, you will be spammed with 3D refrigerator ads. This is terrible. So you have to, but of course, if you say, hey, let's spam me, I want inspiration, then you can make a click and then you're okay. But you should keep the reign over your digital symbol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super crucial.
Yeah, I do think that in the future that, for example, if you see Roblox, right? Recently, I'm teaching like a 7-year-old kid how to code, like an airframe, like a super easy, simple stuff. And the kid told me first day of the class, he said that, I've already published 13 games on Roblox. I was like, what? Wow, such an achievement. But if you go to Roblox, it's pretty much text type and into a world. So it's becoming like a no-code types of things. And on CES, the AWS president, I forgot who is that. He mentioned that in the future, no code is the future. So what do you see that types of like in the future, everybody is pretty much just say something and something will happen.
Exactly. No, I mean, of course, this is yeah, that's why that's the topic of today's talk, that it would be so joyful to just walk in your room and say something when you see something, and gradually, not like that, technically not possible like that, but over a minute, your ideas bounce back with new assets fit to your room. That's super beautiful. And of course, it's not only voice controlled like prompts, but yeah, like drag and drop logic stuff where you have assets, a gallery of assets where you move them. It's not like, I mean, as a filmmaker, we had iTunes, iMovie and Final Cut Pro. And Final Cut Pro was much more complex to edit, and yeah, of course, but still with iMovie you could also edit a film. Yeah, so it's really you can simmer it down to that. No code is definitely a super good solution, and of course the highbrow coder arrogance. Yeah, also the wages that they don't always tell you what magic they do, and it's just human, still humans. Yeah, so it will take some of the coders off the pedestal. Yeah, that if more no-code solutions are available for everyone.
What about intellectual property when it comes to
IP
tools?
It's clear. This is the problem or challenge of all the AI companies. It is not really cool, but it will be, sadly enough, it will wear down, or the resilience will vanish a bit, but it's not cool.
Yeah,
I think it's not cool.
Yeah, and I remember like I interviewed Terry Schlosser. He mentioned that in the future the coding will be software will be disposable, because from idea to execution it's so fast. So you can easily just trash it out if you don't like it. Yeah, so.
Well, I mean, this is great. I mean, it's both sides. More people can do it. But remember when filmmaking, as a filmmaker, I was filming on celluloid, and now everybody, all the social media heroes with the mobile phone recordings, you have, of course, a multiple of trash the world. But it's good. In between some of the trash, there's some gems. So it's good to lower the hurdles for creation.
So what do you think about, for example, for creator who create the product, will the creator own the IP or the hosting company own the IP?
That's also the whole conflict with gatekeepers like Apple. 30% for what? Having everything in the shop. That's the whole hassle with Unreal and Fortnite. Of course, Apple uses their market domination. Unity uses it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's only 3 companies, they will use the power and then take a third or more.
Yeah, so we need to kind of like just do better, and then trying to make the market more competitive. So
there's the option of side loading. I don't know if that's going to be doable on the Vision Pro or not, but that's one way that people get around all these things.
Yeah. I remember when I bought my first iPhone in New York City in 2007, there was side loading possible, and then if you in the beginning your phone got bricked because you so I don't know. Of course it's great, and it would be great. I think it would be a great gesture if this would be possible. I mean, with Meta you can side load, side quest.
Yeah,
it's good.
Cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed today's talk. It's like turn your world into the fantasy world, and very similar to the Void, but you don't have to go there, and you just map your room and into the Void. It's very similar to before I interview Thomas. He is the creator of Cubism VR and Laser Dance.
Oh,
yeah,
Thomas. He's one of the most gifted.
Yes, he is so
and
gifted.
I met him at GDC and Laser Dance.
Yeah, Laser Dance. He is kind of uploading and simulate all the different room, And
Yes.
also he bring the game to like an in-person kind of family size in-person event in Barcelona. And then that people to try it, and he find out that people has different size, right? Different height. And some people has different flexibilities. So he learned everything from the user. And also
Yes.
he told me like a little hint. He thinks that he loves the kitchen and he loves the entire, space, the room. He wants to turn the entire home interface, the entire of your room interface. So I was like he is like one of the most gifted
And
developer.
I will keep contact with him, because he also, with a developer from Australia, he helped him to have a little bit SyncReality powered auto adaption, because there was also, he included into LaserDance also some elements that the lasers are placed in a meaningful manner. But we offer with SyncReality, of course, for everyone this. He kind of like by hand it was stitched into his game, but he's super gifted, and the design is also super well.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
you was in your talk. And
yeah.
I wanted to tell you, I mean, I don't know, now I got contacted by a Chinese government from Datong. Well, we plan for a museum in China.
Oh, wow.
Make a duplicate of the huge Buddha
Wow, that is very
into
cool.
the museum. And that's the next project in China.
Wow, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, yeah, I think those types of like spatial computing, AI, last year was like a AI hype, right? And this year is the combination, and people said that spatial computing will be the platform for AI. Before it was XR, but now it becomes spatial computing. So I can see all the stuff before, people just say, oh, VR is not going to be big, but I can see start from VR, XR, spatial computing. Now everything we start figuring out what to do, and it's also good for our industry. Yeah.
Absolutely, it will merge.
Yeah, cool. Any other questions, Jim, and also LinkedIn Live?
One thing
people?
I'm wondering about is, I know there's been a lot of changes going on with XReality and so forth. And I was wondering, are there going to be more of these events in the future?
Oh, yes, we are going to have more events. The reason why it's kind of a little bit slow, because I'm going to publish a book, which will be launched on February 17th. So the reach was a little slow during Christmas time and January, but we will have more speaker event pretty soon. It just this is the 2 weeks before publish day. So I'm formatting and also follow up. Right now, I'm creating like 10 principles and invite 38 XR leaders for kind of like the interviews, including Ori Imbar, Charlie Fink, and also a lot of like a very, I would say, very knowledgeable, impactful leaders in the industry. So we will have more, and stay tuned. And by the way, we cancel our meetup.com due to it's hard to follow up through meetup.com, and also they charge a pretty high fee. So so we kind of like a switch to LinkedIn Live. So Jim, if you wanna kind of take a look of like the new kind of events, we are revamping our homepage now. So you can go to our homepage probably within 1 or 2 weeks. We will have a calendar view, so you can take a look and you can see which event is where. So you can do our homepage.
If you're a previous subscriber to the XReality stuff, do you need to change that subscription now to Patreon?
For yeah.
I'd love
That
to
would be
join.
great.
Please send it out. I would love to join.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, if you want to join, because we have like a Skillshare, but we have a lot of like speaker event. I know you are like very top tier developer, so I would kind of send out the speaker event. And the next one will be Inga. Inga is the CEO of ShipsXR, and he support our XReality Pro a lot, and also February 17th is also the book publish day. So we will show out for the book. Okay, thank you so much. And I will see you around.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Have fun, Jim. Nice to meet
Okay,
you.
you too. Take care.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.